Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your hosts from Columbus, Ohio and Westfield, Massachusetts are Michael Kirk and Nathan Wagner. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Super Show. Good evening, Nate.
Good evening, Michael, and good evening to our listeners. I just want to give a brief little disclaimer. If I cut out for any reason, I recently moved and my internet is not so bueno. So I wanted to apologize in advance if I disconnect from the podcast or experience any technical difficulties.
Yes, we will do our best to sort of work around that, and we'll probably try to keep this one a little shorter than usual, just to minimize those potential difficulties. So, a couple big things happened this weekend in the game. Two big events. One yesterday, which I'll spill a little bit of this. You had wanted to go to that, but unfortunately, last minute you had to work.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I did. I was looking forward to going and dropping in. Nobody knew I was going to be there other than Mr. Wait for It, Schmidt, and Mr. Medvez. They knew I was going to be going, but then ended up having to work. So unfortunately, couldn't be there. But I was a great turnout. 27 players.
Yeah, that of course is the Create a Competitor tournament at Highlander Games. 27 players, and in the end, came down to a relatively new player, Matt Haas. I believe they were calling him the Invisible Man.
Slow match Matt,
and the one, the only, the CEO, the boss, Steve Resk. Those two gentlemen made the finals, and Steve Resk won. Steve Resk has the ability to make a character in the game.
Steve Resk gets to work side by side with the boss and make his own competitor. Imagine that. Well, I wonder if he's going to do an alt art boss competitor. Or what an honor it is going to be, though, just to work side by side with the boss. I wonder if he's going to talk to himself in the mirror.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he going to put a mirror by himself? Is he going to have a little sock? You know what? I wonder if they did make pop figures for this game at one point. Is there a pop Steve Resk who's going to sit up on the desk? I mean, there is a Funko Pop John Calais.
Is there really?
At Origins, where John Calais was set up, in front of the laptop was like the John Calais Funko Pop. He had it on a base, sitting in front of the laptop.
That's pretty funny. Well, maybe Steve will make a tag team card himself, the boss and Super Hombre on a tag team.
He could be a mixed tag, Boss and Sage.
Yeah, so many options.
So yeah, there are a lot.
Maybe he'll raffle it off to the community.
I did bring this up. I wonder if there's going to be any negative about that.
Why would there? He won it using donation, so.
I mean, look, he paid his entrance fee. You know, he won it fair and square. It's just, I could see some people essentially going, the one guy who never needs to win a Create a Competitor won a Create a Competitor. I mean, that's basically, I need to win a Create a Competitor if I want to put a guy in the game. You do. Most people need to win something unless they want to just throw down the $600. If Steve wants to create a competitor, he's like, okay, let me sit down on the computer and type it up.
Yeah, well.
And draw this guy.
It's at the end of the day, like you said, though. I mean, he paid his dues and he won it.
He paid his money. He made it through the tournament. He got his victory. He's going to create a new character.
And again, like I said, he wasn't using someone like Ariel Lipstick or Super Hombre. He's used donation.
He's going to create the twin sister Mario Lipstick. Or it'll be another character where first name Disney princess, last name cosmetic. Belle Blush.
Mary Maybelline.
No, it's got to be like a type of makeup.
Maybelline is
Like,
makeup.
no, that's a brand. That's a brand. Like Cinderella mascara would be a.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, because lipstick's not a brand. Lipstick's the
Well,
actual type of man.
Erica eyeshadow.
Could be, yeah. Well, that's not Disney princess. That's not Disney princess though. Uh, Pocahontas concealer.
Oh, moving on. But they had what was this here? So they did have one 5-0. John R was playing as Snake Pit. He was the only 5-0. They cut to a top 12 with the top 4 seeds having a bye. And then those matches were contested by special guest refs. Unfortunately, John Polverino got the short end of the stick in that. He ended up having the big shot as his special guest referee there, which kind of sucked for him because who was he playing as? I forget. Let me look here. He was playing as Unique, actually. So he had to re-roll his 10 a bunch of times. So John P. unfortunately got the short end of the stick. But yeah, so they had some special guest ref matches, and then after those, they went to a top 8 with 1 fall matches, and the top 4 had two out of 3 fall matches. And the first match was actually the Invisible Man, Matt Haas, aka Slow Match Matt, playing as his numero uno deck, going against Combat Chris, playing as himself. And then the other was the SRG Boss, playing as Donation, versus John R. as Snake Pit. Obviously, Matt and Steve both won. And then the finals was a 1 fall main event crowd meter match, which Steve ended up winning.
Yeah, I'd ask Chris who John R was. Apparently, he plays at East End Games, which was where the undisputed. What was I guess they were called the Undisputed Underground. I guess now they're calling themselves Joker's Wild.
Okay.
Yeah. This is we thank Chris for this information. Chris Pagillo, who was one of the gentlemen in Impact behind the event, sent us all this information. He also sent me the full name of John R, which is very difficult to pronounce. It's like John Rudzesk. I can't say it.
Ziak.
Some could be Rudziak. It ends WYCZ. And I don't know how to pronounce that. Shashevsky? I don't know. Could be.
What did you just say? Shashevsky?
Shashevsky.
Okay.
The coach of Duke has a name that's hard to pronounce because his last name is pronounced Shashevsky, but it starts with a K. That's why they call him Coach K.
Oh, right.
So that was the reference there that it's another name that's difficult to pronounce looking at. There's also at that match a birdcage, which featured
Yes.
Chris Pagillo, Big Match Pete, Matt Haas, Everett Stevens, Combat Chris, and then a new player from Philly, Nick C. And the winner of this match would get a GM favor to be named later. And Impact Zone and our Grand Gathering roommate, Everett Stevens, won the birdcage. He won the general manager's favor.
Came down to Chris Pagillo and Everett Stevens. Impact versus Impact.
Yep. He won it using Damien, which is one of the new characters in the Devil's Rejects. And we're actually gonna this week later on we're gonna cover the competitor that created by Everett Stevens himself, the Phoenix EV Fresh.
We're doing that today, yeah?
We're doing that today. We're going to do that later on. But just wanted to bring that up there. Congratulations to him for winning the general manager's favor. Congratulations to Steve Resk for winning the Create a Competitor.
So the order of entrance and the competitors that they drafted, Nick C was first as CJ Sparra. Pagillo used Combat Chris. Big Match Pete used Shade. Combat Chris used ACH. Matt Haas used Vampire Bassett. And Everett Stevens, of course, won with Damien. And that was their order of entry, as well as their competitors.
Cool. So that was a pretty good size event for, I think, a first-time store running that type of event. They got 27 players.
How many ended up coming there? How deep was Dave Marisak pocket hit today?
So after the Rust Belt had an event, Dave Marisak, who's the director of operations, promised that for every 10 people, he would throw $100 in the prize pool. The gentleman who had all the kids ended up not coming, so he didn't have to deal with that burden. I don't know if you saw that promo.
No, I didn't, but that's pretty funny.
Some guy has like 5 or 6 kids. He was gonna bring, but then the babysitter fell through or something to that effect. He couldn't come out. I don't know what happened, but so
how many was the grand total?
So for Super Show Sunday, the grand total was 32. 32 players. So $300 went into the prize pool for this event, for all the various things going on. There were quite a lot of things going on.
Now, was that prize money won by someone, like from a tournament?
So I don't know how it broke down across everything. I know, for example, there was a birdcage event later on, because there was one big event, and that was this. It was the tournament to determine the number one contenders for the All Ohio Tag Team Championship. That was the big tournament that was going on. I think pretty much everyone played in it. I wasn't expecting to play in it when I got there, but I got drafted into it, so played in that. Yeah, I believe you had to. It was 4 rounds. When you got 2 losses, you were out. And then my team went 1 and 2. I played with Jamal Lewis, who was Bobby Ohio's partner back when they were the All Tag Team Champs.
That was your partner?
That was my partner. Yeah, he showed up, and I got paired with him. We played Booker and Keith Overby in the first round, and they got us pretty quick. And then we played Big Money, and we got our win against Big Money.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve Hines, and sorry, Gary, but that one is it'll be a sting on my heart till the day that I die. So I'm just glad that you got one back on them.
So we got Big Money, and then we played Corey Squared. Corey Squared got us.
Well, they're a tough team.
They are a tough team.
And they showed up in golf attire, I guess.
Yeah, some of that. Yeah, I believe they did. They tagged a lot in the match we played. They tagged for a very short match. They tagged like four times. It was pretty. It was. They tagged a lot. They did pretty good.
Who did you and Jamal end up using?
So Jamal shows up, asks him what he's gonna play. He pulls out Anthony Gangone, the original Anthony Gangone. So because Anthony Gangone's top stat is technique, I just pulled out my Devil's Advocate deck because that's what I had built, and I wasn't expecting to be in the tournament, so I just played what I had ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even have put like my headlock kick or those kind of cards in the deck. So, and then he didn't have any entrance cards or spectacles on him either.
That's a tough day at the office.
Yeah, what's funny is he had, because I asked him, because he didn't play it, and then later on he's like, 2 matches in, he asks if, hey, I've got my director of operations, should I play that? And I was like, well, it's kind of a little late. You could ask and see if the judges would let you, but you've already played 2 matches without using it.
I don't think there's a rule on that. I feel like your entrance card, if you don't use it, like, that's your own choice. But if you're going to use it, it's not like, if you don't use it, right, it's not going to, and you win without using it, it's not going to, like, make a difference because you obviously won without it. So if you used it, you probably still would have won with it.
It's a little suspect because, I mean, look, I couldn't change my 30 card deck. I couldn't say, well, I played 2 games and I never drew this card. I never drew my number 24. So why can't I just swap my number 24 out for a different number 24?
That's different. That's changing your deck. Like, this is an entrance card, though.
Yeah,
Like, I could see why changing your entrance card itself, like, if he started with Director of Operations and then was like, well, now I'm going to use Chaos, that's different. Like, I would say, no, you're not changing your entrance card. Like, but if you don't use one and then want to use one, I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, well, I just told him ask the judges, and I don't know if he ended up asking or not. I know he did. I don't think he played it in the last game because I'm always iffy about that. That's not something I would just do. I would not just make that change on my clear first.
In any event, Deadly Alliance ended up winning the tournament, right?
Deadly Alliance ended up winning the tournament with Chris Pate and a man that we dubbed Fake Sean Loeb.
I saw that. I was like, when you went live, I saw it, and I was like, Deadly Alliance? That's not Sean Loeb. Where was Sean Loeb today?
Well, look, apparently Dangerous Alliance owns the Sean Loeb IP, so whoever they want to make Sean Loeb, I guess they make Sean Loeb.
Okay.
That's are you familiar with Fake Diesel at all?
Yeah, Fake Diesel, Fake Razor Ramon, yeah.
Right. Well, that's kind of, I'm making a joke based off that.
Okay.
Because that was the idea was that WWF owns the IP, so we can make anybody Diesel and anybody Razor. That's why they tried that. But no, the gentleman's name was Brian. I didn't get a last name.
His last name was Loeb.
Well, his fake last name is Loeb. Or is his real last name Loeb?
Well, for all intents and purposes of this podcast, his last name is Loeb.
All right, until we find out otherwise, I guess he is.
So in any event, Earthquake ended up losing that match, right?
Earthquake faced Dangerous Alliance after Dangerous Alliance won the tournament. Faced Dangerous Alliance. Dangerous Alliance ends up coming away with the victory.
And who are they playing as?
So Dangerous Alliance was playing as Grim with King Greatness as Chris Pate's character, and then Brian was playing Combat Chris. So I believe that's what they were playing at Origins.
A lot of Combat Chris going on lately.
Well, here's the thing with Combat Chris in those matches. I believe, and you might be a little bit, I'm going off memory, I don't have the character in front of me, but he essentially, basically Combat Chris will draw when he wins a turn roll by so much, and then he'll draw when he loses a turn roll by so much.
Yes, it's about 4.
Right. So basically, anytime they tag, Combat Chris is going to get the draw.
Why is that?
Because for the most part, if they tag, if the opponents tag, make sure if Combat Chris's opponents tag, so like let's say Chris rolls a 7, his opponent
they tag with a 16.
Yeah, so apparently that counts as both. So he gets to draw 2 for each guy.
He gets to draw for each guy?
Yeah.
Yo, tag team is broken.
Yeah, he gets to draw for each. He gets to draw for each opponent. So yeah, it'll be so when they tag, he gets to draw. So he'll draw 4 cards.
Yeah, but if
they
he
tag,
hold on a second. Hold that thought.
All right.
Because I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
So if he loses by the roll by 4, let's just say he rolls an 8, and the other team tags with a 16. And the other team each rolls an 8. He's not drawing a card because they each rolled an 8.
It doesn't matter. It's considered a 6. It's considered that both players rolled a 16.
That's dumb. That's like
that's
just as dumb as Grim. I'm sorry, as dumb as D3 gimmick working for both players on his whoever. Like if you're using D3, I get D3's gimmick also. So I don't. Tag team, I would like to have a list of all competitors whose gimmicks do weird things in tag team.
Wow, that's got to be a long list. But I mean, because that's what they did. It's the same team that he got to see. They made the finals at Origins playing against Grumpy, Davey Thunder, and Loudmouth Leo, playing that
Yeah.
same team, and that's
Yeah.
why, because he's able to just draw like a fiend. Because not only does he get a draw normally, like if he rolls low and one of the opponents rolls high, he gets to draw. Then if they both rolled higher, he gets to draw. And then if they tag, he gets to draw a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they tag, because now they're rolling, like if he tags with his opponent, if he tags with his partner, Combat Chris tags with his partner, so now they have a high turn roll because they rolled so much higher than each guy. He gets to draw against for each guy.
So he'll draw 1 for his turn and then 2 more because of. So he gets a 3-card draw when he wins it. That's silly.
Yes, yeah. With the tag, he'll get a 3-card draw. That's depending on how high it is. Yep.
I wonder how that was determined. Like straight from the brain of Steve Resk. I love it.
Well, that's the way that gimmick's been ruled in tag. At this point, it's going to be that way. I don't know if or when that'll change, but that's how that works, and that's.
I mean, I don't think it's as bad as D3. I still think D3 is the most stupid decision ever. I think that's just ridiculous that, you have to have 3 other cards in play to play a finish on both players. I think that's silly. But in any event, was there a singles tournament there?
There was not a singles. There were plenty of singles matches. We had James Hand had 2 matches. I believe he had a match against.
He had one against King of the North, Bob Odell, which he ended up winning.
That's what I was going to say. He ended up winning that match. I cannot recall off the top of my head who the other match was with, but he was victorious in that one too. And then he got choked out by Damian Thorne for his trouble.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. There were 2 BCW title matches.
I'm still waiting for you to get yours.
That may never happen, but we'll see.
That really pisses me off.
Wow. That's life. But so Booker faced Booker faced one half of Girthquake. Was it Justin or was it Nick? I think it was Nick. But Booker successfully defended both times. He played one half of Girthquake and then he played Sierra later. He got Sierra in like 2 minutes. It was fast.
Who played Sierra?
Booker. James Booker. James Booker's still the BCW champion. He had 2 championship matches. Defended twice successfully today.
See, I mean, I like Booker. He's a working man's champ.
Yeah. Successfully defended twice.
Sucks the belt's not, in Columbus, but at least you got a guy who's willing to defend the strap multiple times.
There is that. All right. Rust Belt had a championship match. And I believe it was a Scott versus, I believe it was Corey Roberts.
Turd Ferguson.
Which one is the one that is clean shaven right now? Is that
That's Corey Pitney.
It's Corey Pitney. Okay, that's right.
The one who was wearing the white polo.
Yeah, the white polo faced off against the man that's earned a lot of ire for joining the coven. And
so that would be Corey Pitney. Did Corey Pitney win?
So Corey Pitney won. Corey Pitney is now the Rust Belt champion.
Wow! Congratulations, Corey Pitney.
Corey Pitney won. Sorry about getting your name confused with the other Corey Pitney.
Congratulations. That's great.
Then there was a 3rd title match for the CCW championship.
Yeah, big guy winning. And he honestly had a hard match. I didn't think he was going to win because Tim was using the big shot I saw, and that's bad news against Merlin von Berlin.
Yeah, there was some. I can tell there was a. I don't know if you saw the match. I was the guest commentator on the match. I don't know if my voice came through well enough. I wasn't holding the phone, but Tim had a lot of bad things. A lot of things go wrong against him. He was in it the whole time. He had two situations where Gary rolls his submission, which is a 9.
Yeah.
And Corey, and like we talked earlier about the Big Shot. The Big Shot's gimmick is you can make your opponent re-roll their submission. I think back-to-back re-rolls, Gary rolls into a 10.
Jeez. You hate to see it.
He rolls a 9, so he says re-roll, and then he rolls a 10 on top of it. It's just like, wow. Just so frustrating to see that happen. But yeah, it was a good match. And then, of course, we had... And I missed this match. I was starting to cover the match. I saw the first match, and then I missed the second one because I got dragged into the birdcage matches. But they had the first ever junior heavyweight match. Junior heavyweight championship.
Now, what exactly is that, and how do you qualify for that?
You have to be under 18 to qualify.
LOL. And who won this?
So, the winner of this from City of Champions Wrestling,
Jazzy Flash.
Jay Flash, Jasmine Schneider wins. Yep.
Took a shot in the dark. Congratulations, Jay Flash, the LFF's most hottest rising rookie.
Yeah, it was so Jay Flash got a bye, and Mallory had to play the little guy.
The little guy. How many people were in contention for this title?
3.
3?
Yeah, so Mallory beat the little guy, and then she was able to play Jasmine in the finals for the championship, and I missed the ending, but Jasmine ended up pulling out.
Have you ever seen the movie Benchwarmers?
Bits and pieces. I've never sat down and watched the whole through.
There's a spot in the movie where one of the baseball teams has like this guy from the Dominican Republic. Obviously, it's like a little league, like kids on a little league team or whatever. Well, this guy from the Dominican Republic comes in and he has like a fake birth certificate. It's like written in crayon, says "I am 12." I'm gonna show up and have one of those fake birth certificates, and I'm gonna go for the title.
So they based that on I forget what the name of that pitcher was in the Little League. Well, that happened in the Little League World Series.
Did that really?
Yeah, that's what it's based on. There was a kid that was playing the Little League World Series that I think was from the Dominican Republic, where he was a pitcher. He was a pitcher, and then essentially, I don't know if they actually found out or if there was a lot of suspicion that he was older than what he was, reported to be. But that's actually based on like a real life story.
Thank you for that bit of information.
You're welcome. The more you know.
So it was a good weekend for Super Show.
Yeah. And then, of course, the birdcage. So the birdcage, basically, for those who didn't make the cut and tag, they put you into birdcage matches. And then essentially, if you won, basically, I think it was 5 different birdcage matches of 5 players each. And then the winners of those 5 went on to play in a birdcage match of their own. And, the name of the gentleman escapes me. He was in my birdcage. He was playing Mike Riot. Which, that's one thing I learned playing with him in the first round, that I didn't say anything watching it. But that's a guy, the guy playing Mike Riot is a guy you have to take out in the birdcage. Because, are you familiar with Mike Riot's gimmick off the top of your head?
Mike Riot, yeah, you got when the crowd meter's 5 or greater, your breakout rolls are 5 plus 5.
Yes.
So what happened? I'm sorry, I was looking at a Jim Cornette tweet.
So yeah, well, I can't blame you. But so basically, what I was saying was, if you don't take out Mike Riot early in the game before you hit crowd meter 5, it's going to be almost impossible to take him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because you're going to have to roll a 16.
He's busted, man.
To beat him.
That's why I've said it before. I'll say it again. He is going to be super highly drafted in next year's Grand Battle.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Because, and in the last match I watched, he was the next to last competitor that entered in the birdcage. So he came in at like crowd meter 2.
It's
Right?
just like even his finishers. Like I want to build him. I don't have him. I want to build him. I think he's ridiculously good. Like
Yeah.
he's beyond A+ rating. He's S+. His finishers are so good. But the Cornette tweet, I just want to do a little bit of breaking news here.
Now hold on. Are you gonna read this normally, or are you gonna read this as Bruce Pritchard as Jim Cornette?
I will read it normally. This is in reference to Fyter Fest from last night when Cody got a direct chair shot to the head. Jim Cornette says, "These two simpering a-holes," and I did that so you didn't have to bleep me.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Supposedly, carrying on here, these two simpering a-holes, supposedly wrestling quote-unquote executives, are talking about, quote, "Golly, we gimmicked the chair," end quote, after an angle on their own TV. Fake people, fake wrestlers, lousy BS product. I knew from the start they couldn't possibly do this seriously. Hashtag in over their heads. So Jim Cornette throwing some major shade at the Young Bucks and at AEW.
I actually agree with him.
I don't know what they said about gimmicking a chair.
So I went over to the Sun. We had a little local watch party last night for the Fyter Fest.
Yeah.
So I went over and watched it with the Simons, and a lot of the people that would normally have been there for that Girthquake. Girthquake was at a local wrestling show. The Overbees were out of town, but we ended up going over there and watching that. And so basically, Cody had his match with Darby Allin,
Which was a fantastic match.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that match, and I was pissed that they didn't go another 5 minutes.
I don't know why Cody didn't win outright, but that's for the official pro wrestling podcast that doesn't exist. Talked about that on that non.
What did you say? You don't know why Cody didn't just win outright?
Yeah, I didn't know why Cody just didn't win outright, but let's not get into that. So basically, at the end of the match, so if you saw it, at the end of the match, Shawn Spears comes out, hits him with the chair.
Direct uncovered headshot.
Direct uncovered headshot. Apparently, that wasn't like a normal steel chair. That was essentially manufactured to be like almost like a pie plate kind of metal on the seat. So it wasn't really hitting him with like a heavy chair.
Okay, but did you see the back of his head?
Yeah, apparently when it hit him, the chair allegedly, I guess a part of the chair that wasn't gimmicked wrapped around and smacked him on the head.
He was lacerated big time.
Yeah, he was lacerated big time. But I believe what Cornette's point is. Look, you did the chair shot. The idea basically is Shawn Spears is supposed to be getting a bunch of heat from hitting Cody in the head with the chair shot. He's getting heat. Why wouldn't you build on the heat? Why would you come out and say, "Oh no, don't worry, it just isn't. It wasn't real. Doesn't matter." Why would you rain on your own parade? You guys.
I can see why they are, and it's because of all these people now who are like, "Oh, CTE protocol, you got to be super safe. Why are you doing chair shots to the head? Chair shots to the head, because look at what WWE does. WWE does not do that anymore. So now people are freaked out that they're seeing a chair shot to the head for the first time in almost 20 years. So I can see why they're trying to cover their own A's.
But then I'm going to make it. Here's the counterpoint I'm going to make. They made that call before the show. That was not a spontaneous, Shawn Spears just went into business for himself, or nobody in charge. That was all known. They knew.
Of course it was, but
right.
They're going to have to protect themselves and be like, dude, the chair was gimmicked, obviously, but a little mishap happened and they cut him.
Right. But I think my point is basically it's like, as bad as Sammy in the baseball bat was. Sammy at least basically, went full heel on it. He didn't, come out and oh well, the battle's supposed to be gimmicked and something went wrong. He basically ran with. Heck yes, I hit Eddie Edwards in the face. I'd do it again too.
Well, I don't think they're in the position right now, being that they're a brand new company, to be like, yeah, you get it, and we're going to allow chair shots to the head.
Well, but they don't. The thing is, they can say if we don't allow that, kayfabe. I mean, you don't allow, you don't allow chair shots to the head anyway. That gets you disqualified in a normal match. Chair shot to the head is already illegal in professional wrestling, unless it's a hardcore match.
I just think that him generalizing the entirety of the brand, like that, I have a problem with. Like, to quote, lousy BS product. I don't find that that's truthful. I think that AEW has a lot to offer, and I think a lot of talent. Um, calling them fake wrestlers, I disagree with that. I mean, they're just taking, a protective standpoint, and I can kind of understand that, but I do understand what you're saying. They should have been like, yeah, Sean Spears was out of line, shouldn't have did that, but I think that they're covering their own asses when they say that they gimmick the chair.
And my point on that would be, look, you guys knew the risk when you approved basically the unprotected chair shot. You knew what you're getting into. You knew that was going to be a backlash. That was probably going to be brought up even if the chair hadn't wrapped around and cut Cody in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That was going to be a thing. So you knew going in, you should have either said, okay, if we're doing this, we're going to commit 100%. If you weren't going to commit 100%, you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, my only question coming out of all this is, so now this match with Darby Allin has no resolve. It's all for nothing because now there's a straight up angle, apparently, that's going to lead up to, I'm guessing, All Out, because Cody's already booked with Dustin for Fight for the Fallen in July in a couple of weeks, go against the Young Bucks. So I'm guessing Sean Spears versus Cody is going to happen at All Out.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's just very random. It's very, very random.
They could have done a little bit better job of simply talking about why Sean Spears did that.
Could have grabbed a mic and cut a promo on him or something as he was walking back up the ramp.
Apparently, he put out something on Twitter referencing something that was on Being the Elite as sort of why he did that, why he did what he did. That should have been something that got fed to those guys later on to be like, hey, here's a statement Sean Spears just put out via social media, blah, 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 blah. So people at least know what's going on. Because the storytelling was lacking in that case. But that's
I think. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna move on, but go ahead. Please give your opinion.
I was just, when I was saying I think it was a good match, I truly believe that Darby Allin had a great match. He's a fantastic wrestler. For his size, he's incredibly small. But he's just fast. He's got a real unorthodox style, and he was getting a lot of crap too for that trust drop that he did, where he hit the edge of the ring. Like, we were like, what an idiot! Why would he go for that trust drop? That's one of his signature moves, the coffin drop or the trust drop, whichever one you want to call it. But I don't know, I like the guy. I've always liked him. I thought he's a fantastic wrestler. Just wish there was a little bit more resolve to that match. It was kind of just abrupt, and now there's no reason for the match to have even happened because, Sean Spears. But in any event, that's enough about wrestling.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned pricing earlier, and I was going to pricing later. So I do know that from the birdcage because I heard Dave talk about it as he was just explaining to some of the players. For the if you won your birdcage in the first round, essentially you got money for that, and then basically I believe where you finished, you got money for being also in the final one. Like so, there was money in the birdcage matches, and I think there was money spread out elsewhere. I don't know because I was never in the money, but the prize money was distributed. I believe it was in the form of like store credit, so you got like you had to so you could basically buy stuff from the store. There were cards up there available. I actually picked up an Overdog set.
Nice.
Yeah, because they're a little bit discounted. Like it was only $12 for the Overdog set. So and actually had some money left over from a credit from when I was up there in April, so that helped that go down.
That's cool.
So
Worked out for you then.
it worked out for me because that's a guy I didn't have. So one more guy in my collection. At some point I'll play him because I could get theoretically I could get all 30 cards in my hand at once if I play my cards right. Get that show of force, feeling dangerous out there. Director of operations. I'll start with a base 20. I start with a base 20 anyway, so I just run draw heavy. I don't know. I wonder what the max over hand cards you could have in your hand playing Overdog would be.
30?
Well, no, because theoretically you'd have to play. You'd have to. So that was a good event. It may have broken Dave Marisak's bank a little bit, but thanks to Dave for doing that. That was very generous of him to do that for this event. So, and thank you to those guys for putting on just a really fun day of Super Show. I mean,
Those guys always do a good job over there. I really believe that the Rust Belt, I've never been to one of their events, but I've just seen it covered, and they're always well covered. Like on the Facebook, you broadcasted and streamed everywhere, and it seems like it's just a great time. So someday I got to get out there and get to one of those.
Yeah, it's a nice. I really enjoyed going out to the venue. We had to get out. It started at 1. We had to get out 6 because the store closed at 6. But we made it. We got all the title matches. We got the birdcage finished. Everything was done at 6. There's even a little bit of an after party afterwards. There's some at least there's one photo on Facebook. I couldn't stay because I had to get back here and record this, so I can get this out and get to bed at a decent hour. So that was this was a pretty good Super Show weekend. I mean, we essentially had almost 60 players playing just in 2 major events on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure we had other players playing locally. I know WCCW likes to do a lot of stuff on Sunday, so they probably were out having an event.
Also, today is the 75th birthday of Terry Funk.
Right. I would love to have a Terry Funk Spectrum card.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
I wonder if Terry Funk still signs stuff. He's still around doing. Harley races, so you gotta mention.
What about Harley Race?
He still goes out and does signings. And I imagine he's fairly old. Baron von Raschke still goes out and signs. I think he's pretty old too.
A lot of older guys still going out and doing signings. Look at the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah. Well, he's coming. He's going back to Ohio and wrestling in like I think 3 weeks. Ricky Morton is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's going to be at I thought about going out to that show. He's going to be at a county fair on a Wednesday.
They just did the Crockett Cup.
They sure did, yeah. I got to meet them up in Fort Wayne when I went up there.
But so you wanted to ask me about a couple of competitors that you had covered a couple weeks back.
So we're gonna go. I think now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about our card of the week, which our competitor. I've been covering the new competitors as they come out. Just I've enjoyed doing that. And with the week you were off, the weekend, the week of Origins,
Yes.
we talked. We looked at Zombie and we looked at Bobby the Brain Dunn. And I'd mentioned on a podcast that I wanted to get your opinion on those, and just completely slipped my mind last week. So I wanted to. One of our listeners reminded me that it slipped my mind, so I just wanted to go ahead and get your opinion real quick on those two guys. What do you think?
So up front, the zombie competitor, not necessarily a competitor that I would play with, just because of the style of the gimmick. I'm big on turn roll, like things like where I can try to re-roll or manipulate the turn roll to help me like win the turn roll. I used to play a lot of competitors like this where I can try to get cards from my discard palettes in my hand, from the gimmick. Um, I mean, he's got a good stat line. I like the 8 technique because I can run the chicken wing there in the 15, and I can have the running lariat as well as the DDT, or I can run 7 seals there in the 14 and the running lariat. So he's got some good options as far as stats and cards that he can run. His finishers are pretty neat. I do like the dead end finish because when the crowd meter is 2 or greater and the cards in your discard pile, you ignore the non-finish part in the gimmick. So that makes the the gimmick a little bit more interesting to me, at least, where you can get anything, like you're not limited. So he's pretty chill. I like him. Again, I nothing against him. It's not the style of competitor I would play. However, the other competitor, Robert the Brain Dunn. Now, this is a competitor that I really like and I really want to get. I haven't gotten yet. His stat line is a little interesting to me. He's got the 10 power, so you can run the. I'm sorry, I was mistaken actually on the zombie. I don't believe that you can do 7 seals with him because, well, you can run it, but you're at risk because you have a 7 power. So I don't know.
I think we need 8 strike to make that work.
Yeah, no, you can do it with him, but it's just that he's got
It's
a
a low
7
power,
power.
yeah. Yeah, so you have to have a 5 or 6 and 6 or 6
The
power.
brain, however, though, could definitely run that in the 14 slot because he's got an 8 strike, so he meets the requirement. He's got the 10 power, so that would be right there. And then in the 9, he's got a 9 for submission. So, I mean, you could do running lariat with him in the 13, 7 seals in the 14, then bow and arrow in the 15. His finishers are absolutely bananas. I love them. Artful Dodge, great name. +2 to his 5, +1 to his 8. And then if you re-rolled your last turn roll, the card's also a follow-up. Fantastic. My favorite finisher, actually, it's a toss-up between the grapple and the submission, which one I like better, but the top rope, the top buckle brain buster, it's kind of a tongue twister. It's +2 to agility, +2 to grapple. If you re-rolled your last turn roll, you double the bonuses. So his 5 goes to a 9, and his 6 goes to a 10. That's bananas. And then I've said it a bajillion times, any finisher that can go back to your hand, I absolutely love. And his submission finisher does exactly that. It says when the card is in your discard pile and you re-rolled your turn roll, I'm sorry, when this card is in your discard pile, if you re-rolled your turn roll and rolled the same skill, you can add it to your hand. So it's not easy to get back to your hand, but it is possible. So I really like Bobby the Brain's competitor. And it's cool to see that he's got the Tornado Tag title with his own competitor and with the Witch's Apprentice. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk
those are
about
my
our new. Thank you. Well, let's talk about our new competitors. So our new competitor, rather, the Phoenix EV Fresh, Power 7, Technique 10, Agility 9, Strike 6, Submission 8, Grapple 5. When your opponent wins a turn roll, your power, technique, and strike skills are +1 during the next turn roll.
My internet kind of lagged. Do you want to repeat that for me? I'm sorry.
Sure. Stats and gimmick.
Just the gimmick part.
All right. When your opponent wins a turn roll, your power, technique, and strike skills are +1 during the next turn roll.
Yeah, that's exactly the style I'm talking about. Stuff like that, stuff like the brain. I love gimmicks like this. This is right up my alley.
So to put that in perspective, it makes the power go from a 7 to an 8, the technique go from 10 to an 11, and the strike go from 6 to a 7.
That's pretty awesome because then he's got an 11. That's really good.
I do like the thematic choice of the stats.
Yeah.
Do you know why? You know what the theme of the stats is?
Enlighten me.
Okay. Power is what color?
Red,
Technique's what color?
orange,
Strike's what color?
yellow.
Okay. What colors? How would that relate to a phoenix?
See, you're looking really deeply into this, and that's
No,
why I
it's just
appreciate you.
it's fire colors. It's the colors you'd see in fire, which is what
And
the
it's
phoenix
also the
is.
same colors that are on his sweatshirt on the card.
I don't really see a lot of red in him. He's mostly orange and yellow. I even say the shirt's a little yellow green, but yeah, to me, I like the idea that it's very much like I get the color, the fire colors get bonuses. He's burning bright from losing the turn roll. He's heating up,
He's
getting
heating
angry.
up.
He's on fire. As he played some NBA Jam too.
Breaking news: the WWE 24/7 champion Ron Killing hospitalized due to severe back pains as a result of carrying the weight of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live.
All right then. Did not expect to hear a little R-Truth news.
That's satire.
Okay.
Anyways, back to what do we got for finishers here?
I don't know who's more disappointed, me or Little Jimmy. That one. I won't say Little Jimmy. I think I just lost you. You don't remember R-Truth's Invisible Friend?
Oh yeah, I do, Little Jimmy.
Yeah. No, I'm just busy. So let's go through the finishes. Strike finish. Number 28. Sacred Ashes. It is a spotlight finish. +2 to power, +2 to strike. So it's going to make you 7 and 6 go to 9 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
When this card is in your discard pile, and your opponent or opponents win or wins 2 turn rolls in a row, you may add it to your hand.
It's my type of finisher.
Yeah, so if you're playing in a multi-man match, and like if you're playing like a triple threat, and turn one, your opponent on the left wins, and then turn 2, the opponent on the right wins, you get added to your hand.
That's neat.
That's really neat. I think that's the first gimmick I've seen like that's actually set up for basically 1 or 2 players. Because if you're in a multi-man match, you get added to your hand, even if the guy across from you doesn't win 2 in a row.
Right.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a really nicely worded finish. All right. Finish grapple, Rising Phoenix. +1 to
I like this
agility,
one.
+3 to grapple. It's going to make the grapple an 8, so it takes away your botch. You make the agility a 10. Gives you a second 10. Draw 3 cards. Your opponent buries 1 card in their hand, and your next turn roll is +1. Yeah, I like that. It's just a solid finisher.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, finish submission, Rings of Fire. +3 to submission, so it's going to make your submission go from 8 to an 11. When the crowd meter is 3 or higher, and your turn roll is at least 2 greater than your opponent's, this card cannot be stopped.
Imagine that it can't be stopped. You hit him with it, and then you roll the 11.
Yeah, that'd be devastating.
Oh yeah. So that's an all-around good competitor. I really like the finish. That strike finishes. BA. And that
Yeah,
stands for bad.
I like this. Yeah, I like the strike finish too. So that was Evie Fresh, the Phoenix. Good for you, Evie Fresh. So I think that's going to do it for like what's new to the game that I think I've talked about.
Yeah. Should be an interesting week. Talk of the Universe this week. I'm sure they'll cover. I'm sure they'll cover the events that happened in Boonton, New Jersey, at Highlander Games.
I'm sure they will too. We might get Steve do a little donation deck tech. Does this mean donations meta now because he want to create a competitor?
I said it before when I beat him his donation challenge to qualify for the membership ring, and when I won my membership ring, my first one, his donation deck was very good.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea because he only did it. He did it later, but to me, I like the idea of I can bury the kit. Well, so at the beginning of the game, I can pull it out, play it. Then after, like, let's say the cards is cleared, I can bury it. Then I get to go in, dig it out, and then I get a free shuffle.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like the fact, like you're saying, like if somebody breaks out, if you break out, or if anybody breaks out, board clears, you win that turn roll, or like the next turn roll, just bury the kick. The next turn roll that you win, you get to go through your deck and put kick right into play. It happens at the start of your turn.
Yeah. So you can literally take the kick out, put it in play, and then throw a follow up immediately. Yeah, I like that a lot. It gives you just that nice advantage every time. Of you're always going to be able to start with a lead.
And there's ways to get it back from your discard pile with other cards, like shuffling it into your deck, you know?
Oh yeah, or I like I've talked a lot about how much I like cards like Boot Choke, Head Drop Driver, layered over the top, where you get a bury one, look at the top four.
Mm-hmm.
You just bury that kick, and now you can go ahead and because once it's in the deck, you can do that anytime you can do that at any time. Once it's in the deck, I've got free reign to go in on my. I believe it's I think you do have to win your turn, but once on your turn, once it's in the deck, you've got free reign to go into the deck, and get it out.
Yeah.
If you want, you can shuffle your deck if you want. I can see that being very interesting for people who's like in a tag with people whose gimmicks trigger off shuffles.
What else? Do you want to do the rundown for this week and the gameplay?
Yeah,
What's going on?
let me talk about a couple. Let me talk about. There's three things I want to talk about that are related to this. I told and then the gentleman's last name is gonna elude me. I believe his first name is Ezekiel. He's the gentleman behind Meta and Rick Simmons.
Oh yeah, Leo City Championship Wrestling.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
that's right. Plays out of Singapore. He was looking for people that would want to join him in going to WrestleFest Asia. It's a wrestling convention in Singapore. That's going to happen in October of this year. October 5th, I believe
That
is the
would be
date.
very cool to do, but it would be probably pretty pricey.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty pricey. Apparently, they're also. But he just wanted me to mention that because I think he's looking for people to go with. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to him through the Facebook groups or I'd let him know. He's also wanted me to mention that you don't just have to go to the convention. There are Singapore tours available if you want to do that too. But I told him I'd go ahead and mention on the podcast, so I'm doing that. And I'm mentioning something for myself too. I'm looking for Gen Con roommates, people to split a hotel with me. I have the hotel room. I'm looking for people who need a room to see if they want to come in and basically share the room I have with me. So please reach out to me through the show or through direct message.
Michael Kirk is a fantastic roommate.
I'm glad you put me over. I've been told that I'm one of the worst stores in the world, but
Most certainly are, but you know what? Aside from that, it'll be all right.
all right, that was rough. That's rough, Nate. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to mention: 2 weeks from now, I believe it's July 6th. No, I'm sorry, it's July 13th, which is I believe 2 Saturdays from now. is the DCW Presents Downriver Beatdown. It's the Create a Competitor tournament. It's going to be in Monroe, Michigan.
BCW is doing an event in Monroe, Michigan.
Yeah, DCW is doing an event around Monroe, Michigan.
Why are they not doing an event in BCW territory?
No, D. D is in dog.
Oh,
Delta.
it all makes sense now. For
Okay.
weeks and weeks I've been hearing it as a B.
No, D. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what D. I think it's not Destiny. I think it's Downriver Championship Wrestling. But DCW, yeah. They're doing not us. Yeah, not my local promotion. Not Buckeye Championship. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. That's been confusing everybody. Yeah. In
No, I was talking
Monroe,
to somebody else too about it, and I thought they were saying BCW also. That's why I was so confused.
that's all right. But yeah, so July 13th they're doing their event. And I just wanted to mention it's going to be in Monroe, Michigan. I believe it starts at 1 p.m., just like the event in Rust Belt today. But I wanted to bring this up because they posted this online, and for people who maybe missed it online, the cutoff date to pre-register is going to be July 6th. That's going to be the last day you can basically pay $30 for the event. After that, you're going to have to pay at the door, and it's going to be $40. So, I urge you to go on, basically look that up in Facebook. It should be an event. Find that there should be a link there to pay. And if you can pay, because it's going to be cheaper, pay ahead of time.
Get in there and pre-register. Get those cards. We're gonna have some. We will have a spoiler or two, I believe, for that.
Yeah, I believe there's going to be. I believe there are going to be some promos. We may even have some people on to talk about the CAC upcoming this next week. We will see. You'll have to find out. You'll tune in next week and find out, or download next week and find out.
Please download. Please listen.
Download. Yeah, please. Just since we brought it up, everyone listens. I really appreciate it. I know Nate really appreciates it. You know, I'm glad when you guys listen. So,
Anytime someone listens to our podcast, whether it's the first time or the 50 millionth time they've listened to us, it means a lot, just because there are so many other sources that you can go to and listen to about this game. It seems like every week there's a new type of show coming out. Like, shout out to The Brain for putting out a new show, video podcast. I believe it's called, and the next guest is, or I forget what the name of the show is. It's tonight's guest. I forget what the name of his show is. I'm very sorry, Bob, but he had Ricky Riot on for an interview, and it was a great interview. Oh, hey, also, I just saw it's Cody Rhodes' birthday today, too.
okay.
Sharing a birthday with Terry Funk.
But yeah, I can just talking about our listeners. Every time somebody tells me, "Oh yeah, I listen to you at work on Monday. I listen to you traveling. I listen to you on the plane." I just I really enjoy. That just makes me. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening to our show. I know we're not there are just so many other things you could listen to. Thank you for listening. Really. So, let me run through my list here of the places you can play. Of course, I was just there today. Rust Belt. They have their normal games 6 p.m. on Mondays at Recess Games in North Olmsted. City of Champions Wrestling was also represented today. They play at Titan Game Shop in Hopewell, Pennsylvania. They normally play at 1 p.m. on Sundays. Obviously, they were here today. Yesterday, of course, the big Impact show. A lot of the guys from Impact, Chris Pagillo, John Polverino, they play at Store of Fire and Dice in Lynbrook, New York, Tuesdays and Fridays at 7. It won't be the same without you, Bombada. Won't be the same without Mr. Tuesday Night being there. But, Hope you can find some people to play with when you're up in New Albany. Or, I'm sorry, I think it's just regular Albany.
Wow. Sorry to interrupt, but I just watched live. Evolve 130's main event just ended. Roderick Strong just beat Austin Theory with a lion tamer.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. So, of course, in my own hometown, we play at the Guard Tower, 6 p.m. Saturdays. That's Buckeye Championship Wrestling. True American Heroes plays at Frontline Games in Clarksville, Tennessee, Saturdays at 6 p.m. Florida Cardboard Wrestling plays at House Rules Gaming in Kissimmee, Florida. Please contact the store for days and times. Same with Michigan Wrestling Alliance. Damian Thorne of Michigan Wrestling Alliance was there today at the event in Rust Belt, the Super Show Sunday. But they play at Fun for All Comics and Games at Ypsilanti, Michigan, as well as Chris Pate, the Dangerous Alliance from Destiny Games. They play at Destiny Games in Westland, Michigan, Wednesdays at 6:30. Fanfare Comics in Kalamazoo, Michigan. They play the second and fourth Sunday of every month from 12 to 2. Sin City Wrestling, that's the Las Vegas guys in Las Vegas, Nevada at Atomic Trading. They have moved. They're still at 6 p.m., but they're no longer at 6 p.m. Friday. They are now.
Are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Atomic Trading changed. They're no longer there at 6 p.m. Friday. They're there at 6 p.m. Wednesday. The new night for Sin City Wrestling. Wizards Card Championship Wrestling. It's a WCCW. They play at Wizards Asylum Comics and Games in Norman, Oklahoma. They are usually playing Sunday afternoon, so please check them out if you're out in the Norman, Oklahoma area. Yes.
I have to restart my computer real quick.
All right. Well, I can hear you.
My computer's just glitched. I'm just going to say goodbye to our listeners for right now.
I was going to say, why don't you just go ahead and say goodbye. Nate, thank you for being on the show.
Apologize again. Of course, right at the end of the show, my stuff starts to glitch out. I love all of you listeners. Thank you very much. Eat good and roll better. And until next week, see you then.
Yeah. Sorry, Nate. Bye, Nate. All right. Last few. Some of the new places that are playing up in Nate's area of Massachusetts. So, at New England Comics in New Bedford, Massachusetts, they play twice a week, Wednesdays from 3 to 6 in the afternoon, and Saturdays from 11 to 4, midday. They play at Tabletop Games in Westport, Massachusetts, Tuesdays from 3:30 to 6. And they play at Game King in Fall River, Massachusetts. Right now, it looks like they're playing Sundays from 5 to 9 p.m. That is a tentative date and time. That may change. But that is what I have currently on them. And that will do it for our show. If you have any questions, comments, if you'd like to leave some feedback, please reach out to us. You can reach out to either Nate or I through a direct message on direct message on Facebook, or you can either email us. We're outlawmudcast@gmail.com. That's outlawmudcast@gmail.com. Or you can send us a direct message on Twitter. We are at Outlaw Mudcast. For Nathan Wagner, I am Michael Kirk. Thank you, and good day.